This is Prince. This is Prince Magnum coming to you again from Bonne Terre, Missouri, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. Okay, once again, you see the underneath of the hood of Project Beauty. Okay, I've been going a little bit deeper, and in a moment you'll actually see some magic of editing. Basically, had to install a new hose clamp. Well, new hose here. It's a simple bypass hose, something a little bit more rigid. The one that was on there was getting kind of spongy, and I'll show you that in the editing, whenever I do part 2 for this. But while I was at it, to keep with the blue and silver theme, I went ahead and took a little time out and painted the hose clamps. And as you can tell, that looks a lot neater when you stand back. While I was also at it, they had some old wire loom stuff, the big stuff, wrapped around up there. It was black and, starting to fall apart, So I went ahead and took a little time out and put new up there, I could have done the whole hose, but, they didn't do the whole hose, so, I'm not going to do the whole hose. Okay? Just little things like that. Just keep, once again, just going a little deeper, And, I'm going to remind everybody, for the most part, this is a basic stock engine, and there's that picture again. We just did the car show, which in my last video I was wrong. It wasn't in Farmington, and then I found out later it was at West County High School up in Frank Clay. And we took 3rd place in our class, which you'll get to see the trophy soon enough. Alrighty, so once again, I'm going to end this part and then start a part 2 of this video here in just a second. Alright, welcome to part 2 of building your own budget hot rod, video 6. I think it's video 6. Anyhow, you guys just seen the first part of of some of the stuff that's been going on with Project Beauty, and it's been exciting. It's been exciting. Just got in not too terribly long ago, and I have to put back on my brace. Let me show you, the hose that we replaced. This is kind of what's left of it. If you can tell, it was bulging and getting really spongy. When you got a hose like that, you better change it pretty quickly, or at least have it changed. And that's exactly what we did here. And I just connected in, kind of like that, actually like that. And, sorry, it's a weird shaped hose. Anyhow, when you get molded hoses or any hose like that, it starts getting kind of spongy and things like that. Change it in a hurry, change it in a hurry, because if not, this thing will burst and blow coolant everywhere inside your engine. And I could have showed you this outside, but the neighbors are outside trying to enjoy the day. I just didn't want to involve them in the video. But, you get something like this, change it pretty quickly, And while I was at it, I went ahead and changed from the original hose clamps that were on there, like the shirt. Anyhow, and these things, these are the original Ford hose clamps, and these will work just fine. And you can reuse hose clamps, but I just didn't feel like fighting with them at a later date, because I know I'm going to have to change hoses again later on. And these things are, you just can't squeeze them like that. They're on there, they're designed to clamp that hose down to prevent them from blowing off from the pressure. So these got to hold that hose in place. So they're pretty rigid, but I just didn't feel like, I just don't like these, because you got to get the, channel locks or vice grips or whatever in there and wrestle with it. And you're already wrestling with a hose that's probably been there for a long time. So it just made sense to me to go to the screw-on ones, and I was able to hit them with the Ford blue and VHT paint and all that cool stuff, and and it looks a lot nicer. I could have cleaned these up, but like I said, I just didn't feel like fighting with the channel locks. And, at a later date, those clamps are pretty easy to replace. And I was talking about that old wire loom stuff. And this stuff here, I mean, it's just designed to kind of keep the heat off of your wires, and to keep it from looking like R2-D2 threw up underneath the underneath of your hood. And it's just good to have in there. Well, when they put this on at the factory, after a good long time, this stuff gets brittle, and as you can tell, it's wanting to break and things like that. And it's just no good. So that's why I went ahead and got this stuff. Thank you guys again at AutoZone. over in Deloge and Farmington. These guys always hook me up with the coolest stuff, and I'm not just saying that because they pay me. They don't pay me at all, actually, because I tell you straight up, these guys are awesome. They hook me up with the sweetest stuff. But even if you don't get it from AutoZone, you get it from somewhere else. This stuff, it's still pretty, pretty flexible. It's good stuff, And for about, $6-7, it adds a little flash underneath your hood, and anybody can do this sort of stuff. That's just one of them beautiful things. And while I'm at it, I'll tell you, this, because of this budget build, because of this project, I'll be glad to tell you all, we had, I was talking about the car show in part 1 of this video, and I'll tell you right now, we did take 3rd place. Hang on a second. I just put it up because I was having problems with the camera. Be right back. All right, here we go. And we took 3rd place in our class, and there you go. I guess we can call it the award-winning Project Beauty. But anyhow, we just showed her as an up-and-coming project, and it's really nice to people, recognize us for our hard work, that's where we're at with this. Also, on top of that, a couple of the teenage kids that are in high school at West County High School were looking at Project Beauty. They loved her, absolutely loved her, and have decided they want to build their own project car. And don't know if it's going to be a Mustang, don't know what it's going to be, but whatever it is, I hope they enjoy their endeavor. Real quick, there was also a funny story. One of the young gentlemen who was inspired by this project, he took pictures. He took about a dozen pictures of the underneath of the hood. Well, he showed his mom, and later on, I ended up meeting his mom at AutoZone later on in the day. And I got to show her the car, and she just absolutely loved it. Her and her daughters, and the young man's sisters, they all loved Project Beauty. So, once again, Project Beauty is inspiring people here at home, and I hope it inspires all of you abroad. To maybe get under the hood and experiment a little bit. But even if you don't dive into a project like this, do me a favor and watch out for stuff like this. Because it'll leave you stranded. You always know the person who didn't replace their hoses. As they're driving along, you see steam rolling out from underneath their hood. You knew they blew a hose. And just watch it, everyone. Just check them. Check them when you do your tune-up. Just check your hoses. If they're getting a little spongy, replace them. And you don't even have to put the blue hose clamps on there or anything like that. You can just leave it. The dirty old stock if you want. That's your business. It's your car. Do whatever you want. It's a car. Do whatever you like. But just make sure you properly maintain it. And basic tools will do the job. I just used a set of channel locks to get them off there and a screwdriver to put them back on. Once I got the hose off, it's easy. It's a lot easier than it probably sounds. And I think it only took me 10 minutes to do. And that was just because I had to struggle with the fact that the hose was molded and it was, been on there probably since 1996. So just something to think about, All right, that brings us to the end of this video. Like if you would, subscribe if you would. More and more subscriptions, the more and more we can do stuff like this. And I will warn the ladies, we're not going to do just cars on this channel anymore, and we're not going to do just survival. Eventually we'll get into a couple new series. One of them is called Surviving Romance, and some of the ladies in our area have asked me to do this because it's little tips that'll help keep the relationships alive and well. So men, you better take heed to this one, okay? And the other thing that we're going to eventually get into, because of some things that have been going on, is a series I like to call In Your Face. And it'll almost be like a rant, but it's not. I'm going to keep it on the level. So that brings us to the end of this video. As I said, please like if you would, subscribe if you would. And, this is the Prince Magnum channel. With all that being said, if nobody's told you that they love you, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.